Students, are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good evening, everyone. How are you all?
Fine, ma'am.
Good. Everyone's good? All right. Okay. Now, without further wasting your time, come on, quickly switch on your videos, everyone. Let's start today's class. Okay. Very good. Okay. Okay. Today I'm seeing the faces of students that I've never seen. Okay. Very nice. All right. So up until now, tell me the last thing that I've done with you.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, in the last class, my internet wasn't good. So
Hmm.
I don't have like the notes or anything from the last class. Can you show me the notes at the end of the class so that I can take a screenshot?
Sure.
Okay.
But did you listen to anything that I said in the previous class? Like, were you able to
It
listen?
wasn't my internet wasn't good, ma'am. I couldn't like hear
Oh,
anything.
no. Okay. All right. Okay. Students, tell me, what did we do last in the previous class? Like, what is the last line that you've written?
We have to start from economic importance of algae.
Economic importance of plant kingdom. I mean, this thing, economic importance of algae. In that, we have completed the whole entire thing.
Ma'am, we didn't finish economics.
Okay, we didn't do it. So we have to do it right now, isn't it? All right.
We're doing the examples of rhodophytes.
Examples of rhodophysi. Okay. So amongst all the different classes of algae, that is chlorophysi, phaeophysi, and rhodophysi, did you people understand every single one of them? Any doubts? Oh, I'm seeing one more new face today. It's so good. You guys are making me so happy. See, look at my face. I'm already so happy. All right. So see one more. Today is my best day, I think so. Very good. All right. So as far as this is going, tell me one thing, students. Do you have any problem anywhere in any topic, anything that you did not understand up until now? Okay. All right. So we were doing the examples of rhodophysi. Now, rhodophysi, all these algae will be red in color. So there is Polysiphonia, one example, Porphyra, Gracilaria, and Gelidium. So these are the four most important examples of rhodophysi. Now, one very famous kind of question that comes from this rhodophysi is that, is there any motile stage in the life cycle of rhodophysi? Yes or no? Is there any motile stage? Anyone? Like in the life cycle of rhodophysi, is there any motile stage in the life cycle? Yes or no?
No, ma'am.
No, exactly. None of them. Why? Because we saw that, first of all, vegetative reproduction is being done by fragmentation. There is no need of motility in fragmentation. Then asexual reproduction is done by non-motile spores. It is done by spores, but the spores are non-motile. Then sexual reproduction is done by the oogamous kind, wherein the gametes are non-motile. Both the male gamete also, the female gamete also, they are non-motile. Now, if they are non-motile, meaning none of the stage is there in the rhodophysi that contains any kind of motile structures. So there is no stage that has motility in the rhodophysi class. This is very important to remember. Now, this is Polysiphonia, Porphyra, Gracilaria, and Gelidium. What used to happen is that whenever, in my time, when I was studying this chapter, like how we form mnemonics to remember things. So I used to say P square G square is the example of rhodophysi. P square G square. So you should remember this thing that, okay, two of them have the name starting with P and two of them have the name starting with G. Is my voice audible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Like, are you people able to
Yes,
hear me?
ma'am.
Okay. Sabiha, are you able to hear me?
It's lagging for me, ma'am.
Maybe your internet connection. Do one thing, like you leave the meeting, join again. Okay. Let's just wait for her to join back. Also, yeah, so this p square g square, you can remember this so as to remember the examples. So the one p stands for Polysiphonia, the other p stands for Porphyra, the g stands for Gracilaria, and another g stands for Gelerium. So these are the examples of rhodophyceae. Now, after that, we will be talking right now about the economic importance of algae. Now, see, even though algae do not have a very, you can say, characteristic body structure, like if you see a normal plant and if you see an algae, the algae will be looking like what? It'll look like nothing. It looks disgusting, in fact. And the plants, they look pretty, right? Normally. But even so, this algae may not be used for, ornamental processes. Like you cannot use it for decoration, but they are of extreme economic importance. Now, how they are? Let's see that. Sabiha, am I audible now? Sabiha?
Yes, ma'am. I think like if I keep my video on, then I can't hear you.
Okay, then switch off your video for this class because your internet connection is unstable. Okay, so
Okay,
the
ma'am.
first economic importance of of algae is photosynthesis. Now we know that all the organisms that do photosynthesis, meaning all the green plants, they are known as the producers, isn't it? You know that? Because everyone has studied this thing in class 10th, isn't it? They are known as producers. Now, why are they known as producers? Because they are the ones that provide the nutrition on the land, isn't it? The food products that we get for eating, the other organisms that eat them, they get the food products from the plants. So that is why they are known as the producers. Now, when we talk about photosynthesis, now we know that the algae, they are found in the water bodies, right? They are aquatic. So what they do is that they do the process of photosynthesis in the water body, meaning mostly in the ocean. Now remember one thing, photosynthesis. Under that, during the time period when the carbon dioxide gets converted into the sugar, what kind of sugar is made by the plants, students?
Glucose.
Glucose, right? So this sugar, so this process wherein the carbon dioxide is making the sugar, this is known as CO2 fixation. Meaning the formation of food in plants is known as CO2 fixation. So at least half of the CO2 fixation by the process of photosynthesis is done by algae in the ocean. Meaning the food production in the ocean is done by the algae. And apart from that, we know, okay, tell me what is the byproduct of photosynthesis, students? The byproduct, not the main. The byproduct of photosynthesis is
Oxygen.
oxygen. Exactly. Oxygen is the byproduct of photosynthesis. And where does this oxygen come from?
During transpiration.
Do you people remember that while photosynthesis was done, water was also splitting? If you remember class 10, splitting of water molecule. So splitting of water molecule gives the ocean, gives the oxygen, and that is what the byproduct of photosynthesis is. So in the ocean, the dissolved oxygen gets increased because of the algae by the process of photosynthesis. So this is why photosynthesis is one of the most important aspect of the algae. Clear? All right. Now the next is that since they are doing photosynthesis and they are doing CO2 fixation, so they are the primary producers in the ocean. Primary producers. Apart from that, talking about algae, now algae, some of the algae, they are edible and they can be used as food supplements such as spirulina. Spirulina is used as food supplement because they are extremely rich in proteins. And fun fact about it, spirulina is the algae that is actually taken with the, you can say, astronauts in the space. It is one kind of a space food. Okay, spirulina. Now, fucus and laminaria. These are the examples of which class of algae? Fucus and laminaria. Please don't look back in your notes. See the names and try to recall. Fucus and laminaria. You know for sure that it's not the example of rhodophyceae, isn't it? Because it doesn't start with P, nor does it starts with G. What is it? It's like, which example is it? Which class? Is it chlorophyceae or rhodophyceae? Pheophyceae?
What if I say?
No, it's Pheophyceae. They are brown algae. Do you remember that the stored food product? Okay, what is the name of the stored food product of Pheophyceae? No one is studying. Actually, tell me one thing. How many of you genuinely look back at your notes after the class is done? Muniba is doing like this. What you do?
I do, teacher, obviously.
Okay. 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 All of you do. Okay. Very good. So, what is the stored food product of your Phyceae then? Do you remember that it is laminarin? Do you remember this name? Laminarin. This is the stored food product. Now, the organism that the name is coming from is laminaria. So, it belongs to Pheophyceae. And coming back to the topic, both of them are the sources of iodine. Okay, one of the sources of iodine. So, this was all there is to know about the algae, their importance, and what they do and everything. Now, we'll move on to next. That is bryophyta. Now, bryophytes, what are they of the plant kingdom? Like bryophyte, algae, they are known as the dash of plant. This too you must know.
Amphibians.
No. No, the algae, the bryophytes, the pteridophytes, the gymnosperms, the angiosperms, these are known as the dash of plant kingdom. This to everyone should know. No one. This is the easiest question that I can ask you. Tell me, what are they? Huh?
Division.
Exactly. They are the divisions of plant kingdom. Isn't it? Was that an easy question or not? Still you didn't answer. They are the divisions of the plant kingdom. Always remember that. Okay. Now, talking about the bryophytes, so they are known as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Now, why? Now, amphibians are all those organisms that can live on the land as well as in water, isn't it? So, same way, bryophytes, they have been compared to the amphibians of, just like the amphibians are there in animals. So, they have been compared to amphibians. Why? Because they can live in soil, but they are dependent on the water for sexual reproduction. Okay, so they are dependent on the water, but they live on the soil. But the soil doesn't mean the dry land and the normal ground. No, they are found mostly in the damp area. So that is why they are known as the amphibians of the plant. Now, talking about bryophytes, they are non-vascular, terrestrial, and multicellular. Now, up till algae, it was aquatic lifestyle. Now, while moving from algae to bryophytes, evolution will happen, isn't it? Now, bryophytes are more evolved as compared to the algae. Now, they are slowly coming onto the land. Now, they haven't fully come onto the land because they still need water. Water is very necessary for them. But even though they still need water, we will classify them as terrestrial. So, the bryophytes, they are non-vascular, they are terrestrial, and they are multicellular. Now, none of them are unicellular, no way. Now, talking about the habitats of the bryophytes, so they are found in the damp, humid, and shaded areas. The areas that have water on it, or humidity is there in that area. Also, shade has to be there. So, damp, humid, and shaded areas is like, these are the habitat or the preferred places for the bryophytes. Now, the plant body is usually small. Just like how algae was nothing. The plant body was basically nothing. It was like thallus, isn't it? Not differentiated into anything at all. But their plant body now slowly starts getting the differentiation. Meaning you can slowly start finding some of the cells that look alike. How? We'll see that. So their plant body is usually small, and the plant body of bryophyte, it is more differentiated as compared to the algae. If you compare it with the algae, they have differentiation. Differentiation, you understand, students? What is the meaning of differentiation? Like different parts of the body are divided for different purposes. That is differentiation. Now, bryophytes, they have root-like structures, stem-like structures, and leaf-like structures. Root-like, stem-like, leaf-like. Not true root, not true stem, not true leaf. No. Just like them, but not exactly them. Okay? Now, the root-like structures in bryophytes, they are called as the rhizoids. They have a different name only, that is rhizoids. Now, these rhizoids, they can be unicellular or multicellular. Now, pay attention to this point that the bryophytes are not unicellular. The rhizoids that are there in their body, they are unicellular or they can be multicellular. Okay? All right. Now, what is the function of the rhizoid and why is it there in the body of the bryophyte? So these rhizoids, they are there so that they can attach, like they can attach the plant body onto the substratum. Now, substratum is the surface. Okay, they can attach the plant body to the surface. For example, there is, like we have said, that they live in the damp area. Now, in the damp area, for them to be present there and not get flown away or blown away or anything, that they have to hold them, or they have to hold the ground area that they are present in. And that holding, just like how roots are there in plants, normal roots are there. When you try to pick up a plant or pull up a plant from the root within, are you able to do it easily? No, right? It feels so tough to do so. How many of you have done that? Pulling the plant right from the root? I mean, from the ground? It gets heavier and it gets very tough to actually pull it out, isn't it? So why? Because those roots are actually holding the plant body into the ground very firmly. Same thing is done by the rhizoids. The rhizoids, they attach themselves onto the substratum very tightly so that the body of the rhizoid does not go anywhere. Okay? Now, the vascular tissues. Now, as I told you, they are non-vascular. Did you see this? Non-vascular. Now, there must be something very important about this. So, what is that? See, the vascular tissues that are xylem and phloem, they are not present in them. Vascular tissues, xylem and phloem are absent in the bryophytes. This is the reason why the bryophytes are known as non-vascular organisms. Now, apart from this, remember one, okay, first, before remembering, tell me the xylem is responsible for what purpose? What does the xylem do?
Transporting of water.
Yes, the transportation of water and minerals is done by the xylem. What about phloem?
Food particles.
Yeah, the food that is made by the plant that gets transported by the phloem. So these xylem and phloem are absent in them. Now why? Because their plant body is not that big. They do not need such a conducting, you can say, apparatus to direct everything. So that is the reason why they do not have them all. Any doubts up until now? Okay. Just 1 second. Okay. Now, see, in the plants, there are two kinds of plant bodies present. Okay. Now, what are those two kinds of plant bodies? See, the plant body can be gametophyte. This is something new. This you have never studied about it. So the plant body can be gametophyte. Now, everyone pay very close attention to this topic. Okay. Now, plant body can be divided into two types, gametophyte, and the other one is sporophyte. Now, if you just look at the names, what do you think they will make? If you look at the name gametophyte, if you look at the name, what do you think they will make? By just looking at the name. Say? Hmm? Yes, gametes. So the gametophyte, the gametophytic plant body is responsible for the production of gametes. Whereas the sporophytic, now what do you think the sporophyte will make? Anyone other than Zanab?
Spores.
Yes, spores. So the sporophytic plant body will make the spores. This much is clear to everyone? Okay. Now, apart from this, tell me one thing. Do you know the difference between haploid and diploid? How many of you can explain this to me? Haploid and diploid. What is the meaning of it? Who can explain this nicely? If you don't, you can say you don't. I will teach you, obviously, but tell me.
Ma'am, haploid contains like one set of chromosomes,
Exactly.
and daploid contains two or more. No, I think two, only two.
Two,
Oh,
yes.
only two.
See, haploid is that kind of a condition wherein in an organism there will be the presence of only one set of chromosome. Only one set of chromosome will be there, right? And the diploid is a condition where there will be two sets of chromosome. Now, what are we? Are we haploid or diploid?
Diploid.
We are diploid. We say that we have 23 pairs of chromosome, isn't it? We say that, or in total, we say that we have 46 chromosomes. So that 46 is becoming from the 23 pair. So a pair means two things, isn't it? So we have two sets of chromosomes. So we are diploid. Now this haploid and diploid together, they are known as the ploidy. And how do you define ploidy? It is the number of sets of chromosome in any organism. Okay, number of sets of chromosomes. Now, coming back to the topic, the plant body which is gametophytic or sporophytic. Now, this gametophytic plant body is haploid. You denote N for haploid. And sporophytic plant body is diploid. Now, the most unique thing about plants is that both the kinds of plant body can be present in one plant, but in different life stages. Okay, both the kind of plant bodies can be present in the plant, but at different stages of life. Now we will see that how. Now talking about the bryophytes, their main plant body is gametophytic. Now tell me, is it haploid or diploid?
Haploid.
Haploid. So their main plant body, just like how our body is diploid, we can say that we are diploid, isn't it? But the bryophytes, they are not diploid. Their main plant body is gametophytic, so they are haploid. Now, one more thing to remember. This sporophyte that I told you, it can further be of two types. It can be free living or it can be attached to the gametophyte. So this sporophytic plant body can either be free living, meaning it will not be present on the gametophytic body, or it can be attached to the gametophyte. Both, like any of these conditions can be there. The gametophyte, in the case of the bryophytes, it is free living gametophyte, meaning it is not attached to anything. And what it does, it produces the gametes. Now the sporophyte, which is the diploid condition, it is dependent on the gametophyte as it is born on the gametophyte. So now the sporophyte is present on the gametophyte in the bryophyte. So many fight, but you are understanding what I'm saying? Is anyone getting confused? Because this can get confusing. To be very honest, when I was studying this for the first time, when I was in class 11, I did not understand anything that my teacher said. So that is why I'm taking time and I'm asking you people. And if you did not understand, I will not move forward. I will speak this n number of times until it gets inside your head. So tell me, you can be honest, nothing to feel shame about.
Ma'am,
Tell
can you repeat once?
I didn't understand.
who didn't understand.
Me also, ma'am.
Zainab. Okay, and Sabiha. Okay, good. Okay, good that you did not understand because it's normal behavior to not understand it. It's a normal behavior actually. Okay, see, the plant body in the plants, obviously in any plant. Okay, it can be mostly in the higher plants. The plant body is of two types. One is gametophytic plant body and the other is sporophytic plant body. Now see, gametophytic plant body is the one that produces the gametes. It makes the gametes, and the gametophytic plant body is haploid in nature. The other type of plant body is sporophytic plant body, and it makes the diploid, and it is diploid. And this sporophyte can be free living or it can be attached to the gametophyte. Now, why do you think will it be attached to the gametophyte? Because maybe it has some needs. It is some kind of way dependent on the gametophyte. So they are attached to the gametophyte for nourishment. Okay. Now, the main plant body in the bryophyte, it is gametophytic plant body. And remember one thing, as I told you, that the plant body is of two types. Both these types will be present in one plant, but at different stages of life. Sometimes it can be present as a gametophyte, sometimes it can be present as a sporophyte, but both of them will be present. Now, the main plant body of the bryophyte is gametophytic, meaning it produces gametes and it is free living. It is not dependent on anyone. But the sporophyte, that is the next part. The sporophyte, which is diploid, this is dependent on the gametophyte. Okay, and it is bone. I have written bone off. It's not bone. It's not bone off. It's bone on. Meaning it is present on the body of the gametophyte. Clear?
Ma'am, why they are dependent?
Why they are dependent? For nourishment. They want, because the gametophyte is photosynthetic, but the sporophyte is not. So if it cannot make its own food, so it has to get the food from somewhere. So that is why it is dependent on that. Okay. Any doubts up until now, students? Sure? Okay, very good. Now, the gametophytic plant body generates gametes. And now see one more contradiction, a big contradiction. When you might have studied about cell division, do you remember that for making gametes, which type of division was required? Does anyone remember this thing? I mean, this is not from class 10th, but I'm asking you to be superhumans and remember something from class 9th. Do you?
Cell division?
That's true. Cell division is true. But which kind of cell division?
Meiosis?
Fertilization?
Yes. Who said meiosis? Zainab, did you say meiosis? Yeah. See, the gametes are made by meiosis in normal cases. But here in bryophytes, the gametophytic plant body, they are responsible for making the gametes. But the production of gamete is by mitosis, which is known as the equational division. Okay. Now, why? Can someone explain why? There is a reason. Nothing happens in biology without any reason. So there is a reason. See, after meiosis is done, I'm talking about meiosis, which makes the gamete. So, for example, if diploid cell is there, now if this diploid cell undergoes meiosis, it will form haploid cells. Okay, that is the reason why this meiosis is known as reductional division. We'll study this chapter in this class also. So, I mean, in class 11, reductional division. This is like, did you understand this? This thing that I've explained right now? Everyone understood this?
Yes,
Is there anyone who did not understand this? Okay, good. Now, as I told you that meiosis happens in the diploid cell and it forms haploid gametes. But here, the gametophytic plant body, what is the ploidy of it? What is the ploidy? See, I explained this. Haploid, diploid, these are known as the ploidy. So the gametophytic plant body, what is the ploidy of it? Say
Haploid.
haploid. It is haploid, right? Does everyone agree with me? You people are getting it, na? It's not going here, na? Sure? Everyone is getting it? Because if it is going like bouncing off your head, it is normal. So you can admit it. It's okay. Everyone, it's going here, not here, right? For everyone? Okay, good. Now see, since the gametophytic plant body is haploid, so how will it undergo meiosis? Because meiosis happens in diploid. So that is why the gametophytic plant body of the bryophyte, it produces the gamete by mitosis. Now see, even if you did not understand what I just said, why it does by mitosis, why not by meiosis, you can choose to forget it and remember one thing, that the gametophytic plant body produces gametes by mitosis. This is something that you should not forget. Is it clear to every single person here? All right. Okay. What about Harshit? Harshit, did you understand what am I saying?
yes.
Okay, very good. All right. Now moving forward. The gametophyte contains the sex organs of the bryophytes. Now, the gametes are made from the sex organs only, right? Such as in the males, the male gametes are made in the testes. In the females, it is made in the ovaries, right? So same way, the plants also, they have sex organs. Now, the sex organs of the bryophytes, they are multicellular and it is of two types, male sex organ and female sex organ, obviously. The male sex organ is called as antheridium, whereas the female sex organ is known as archegonium. Any doubts up until now? No. The male sex organ antheridium, it produces two biflagellated antherozoids. Now, antherozoids are just like how sperms are there in males. Same way, antherozoids are the male gametes. So, I'll write male gamete here. So the antherozoid are the male gamete, and here the archegonium is flask shaped. It looks like a flask and it produces one egg. This is the female gamete. Okay, female gamete. So this is what the sex organs produce, and that is how the gametes are ultimately produced. Now tell me one thing, students. Did you understand this? Sure, everyone? All right. Now, let's just keep it till here until you note down. Okay, but before you note down, I want to ask you people something. How many of you have, like, how many of you are studious? Like, studious as in, how many of you genuinely want to study? Like, you like studying. How many of you are there like that? I mean, after, like, you actively study and you like doing it. How many of you like that? Because I wasn't and I am not. So that is why I just want to know about you. How many of you like it? Okay, Zanab does. Jobita does. What about others?
I'm not so frequent. Like I study in between.
Okay, not so frequently, meaning you don't have consistency. You
Ma'am,
do,
I
but
like to study, but time is not there. Everything is there.
time is not. Yeah, it can be a problem. You have too many tuitions.
No, ma'am. So many programs are coming. That's the problem.
Problems.
I mean programs.
Oh, programs in school.
No, ma'am. Like prayer, like anniversary, like
Okay, okay, I
dance.
get that. Okay, okay. Okay, what about others? Hashid, what about you? Are you naturally studious or you don't like to study?
No, ma'am, I do study.
You do study. Okay. What about others? Tell me, Muniba, what about you?
I like to study, ma'am.
You like to study. And Faz, what about you?
Yes, ma'am, I like this.
Why do I feel like everyone is lying to me? I mean, you all are so good students. It's a good thing. It's a good thing though. Anyway, okay, now comes the lecture.
Ma'am, I got
Even
my half yearly portion.
oh yeah, please tell me that. Wait one second. I forgot your question. Tell me.
Cell unit of life,
Hmm. And
cell cycle and structure,
hmm.
biological classification,
Hmm.
plant kingdom,
Okay.
animal kingdom,
Okay. And
morphologic department,
morphology.
yeah, morphologic, and living world.
Living world. So out of these, we have completed living world. We have done biological classification, but not with you, right?
Yeah.
Hmm. And when is your exam due?
June
Hmm.
10.
All right. Okay, yeah. So what I was starting to say is that, see, students, I understand that, some. Okay, now I see this. Sabia said I don't like to study. Okay. It's good. See, now comes the lecture that I wanted to say. The reason why I was asking this. See, this is class 11, and from class 10 to class 11, it is a major jump. I mean, the biology that is there for class 10, it's very nice, it's very easy. But when you come to class 11, there are so many terminologies, let alone. You'll find it very difficult to grasp it all at once. And all the chapters, maximum of the chapters are really lengthy. And they have very little connection with class 10, isn't it? You might be feeling it. We are in Plant Kingdom chapter. You can feel this, right? So the thing that you can do is take it one step at a time. I'm not saying to memorize everything all at once. It is going to make khichdi in your brain. I don't want to do that for you, right? I don't want that. I want you people to actually be interested in the subject. I'm talking about biology because that is what I teach. So as far as you study it with interest, you are going to excel in it. And once it becomes a burden, oh, that happened with me with physics. It became a burden for me when I was in, school and everything. So don't let that happen. And I am honestly saying this to every single one in the class because I know how tough 11th can be. Same goes for physics and chemistry, right? If bio is tough, so we can imagine physics and chemistry as well. So what I am saying here is that students, this is to everyone. Just imagine that I'm talking to each one of you personally. Wherever you have any doubt, please ask me. And please try to read your book, try to read the notes that I provide, because more and more, if you'll read, firstly, it will create more and more doubts. And when your doubts will be clear, your whole concept will be clear, isn't it? And I want that for you. I don't want you people to be tensed during the exam time, like, oh my God, we have so much to do. How will we study? It happens, isn't it? We don't study for the whole year, and when the exam comes we're like, oh no, we have the mountain load of the syllabus sitting on our head. It happens, it's normal, but I don't want that to happen. Let's change this thing. Okay, let's. And also, because I teach biology and I personally love biology, it's my favorite subject. So I want all of yours favorite subject to be biology. Okay, I'm selfish, call me selfish, but I want every single one of your favorite subject to be biology. But for that, you have to actually like it and you have to actually try to understand it. Okay. So you have to be completely unfiltered with me and express your doubts, even if it's silly. I say this in all my classes. Even if it is silly, as to you feel like if I ask this, people will think, am I so stupid that I'm asking this? But even if you feel that, ask that question. Who knows? Because of you, somebody else's doubt will also be cleared. And once your doubts are cleared, genuinely, it's the best thing. So yeah, so I have completed the algae portion with you of the plant kingdom, right? So from the beginning of the plant kingdom chapter, that the intro part that I've given you and the algae, you prepared this part for the next class. In the next class, I will ask you questions about it, but you do it very nicely. You can read my notes. That's it. Because I want to see how well your preparation is. If there is anything that you're not able to do, I will help you. Okay. So we'll do that. Now I have spoken enough. Let's not waste more time. Everyone understood what I said? Okay, good. All right. Now you people can note it down. Also, you don't have to be very, you can say, formal and very scared. And I hope I don't give out this be scared of me energy, right? Sure, no? No one is scared of me, no? What about the others, those who have their videos switched off? Are you scared of me?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, good. No, ma'am, I'm not scared of you. Okay. So even it's good. Treat me like your friend. Ask me your doubts and everything. Be frank. Okay. Now you people can note down. Switch off your videos. Write comfortably.
All right.
Ma'am, we wrote the examples last class.
Oh, you've done? Okay.
Ma'am, can you scroll down?
Yes. Everyone's done?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, can you scroll down? Ma'am, can you scroll down?
Everyone's done writing it till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Done, ma'am.
Everyone's done?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'm waiting.
Done, ma'am.
Can you scroll down?
Done, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you scroll down?
Everyone's done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Done, ma'am.
Everyone is done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, now let's move forward and see a little bit more about the bryophytes. So see one thing. Right now here it is written that they produce two biflagellated antheroids. What do you people understand by the meaning of biflagellated?
There are two
There are two what?
locomotory organs.
I can't hear you.
Locomotory organs.
What is that locomotory organ named as? It's there in the name, flagella. So two flagella. Okay. Now, for the fertilization of the male and the female gametes, water is very important. The male gametes are released in the water and they swim to the archegonia for fertilization process. Now, fertilization takes place inside the archegonium and the zygote is formed. Now, this zygote undergoes mitotic division to form embryo. So, see what happens when the male gametes that are biflagellated, when they are formed and they are released in the water. Now, those male gametes, they move towards the archegonium, that is the female sex organ. Now, they go there and then they fuse with the egg cell and form a zygote. And all of these activities wherein the fusion is happening and the zygote is being formed, it takes place inside the archegonia. Now, after the zygote is formed, this zygote undergoes mitotic division, meaning again mitosis is happening. Now, by the process of mitosis, the zygote then turns into the embryo, then which further develops into a diploid sporophyte, because the gamete, the male gamete was haploid, the female gamete was haploid, and when two haploid gametes fuse, a diploid zygote is formed, isn't it? So this diploid zygote after meiosis will form diploid embryo, and this diploid embryo will develop into the diploid sporophyte, as I told you. Now, after the sexual reproduction is done, then the sporophyte is formed. Now, the sporophyte is not free living. As I told you, they are attached onto the body of the gametophyte for nourishment or for nutrition. So they have to derive their nutrition, and they derive their nutrition from the gametophytic plant body. So after they are formed, they are attached onto the gametophyte so as to they can derive the nutrition from it. Now, why? Because the gametophyte is photosynthetic. It makes the food and sporophyte does not. So the sporophyte would require food, and that food is given from the gametophyte. Now, some of the cells of the sporophyte, they undergo the process of meiosis. Now, the sporophyte undergoes meiosis to form the spores. And when these spores germinate, they form the gametophyte. So, this is the whole entire thing that happens in them. The gametophyte, which is N, that is haploid, there are of two types, antheridium and the archegon. Now, by the process of mitosis, they give rise to the antherozoid and the egg. They too fuse to form the zygote, and the zygote, after the process of mitosis, forms the embryo, and this embryo develops into the diploid sporophyte. Now, the diploid sporophyte undergoes meiosis to form spores, and these spores, they germinate to form the gametophyte. So, this is all the life cycle of the bryophyte. Is it clear, students?
Yes.
Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now we'll keep it till here only for today's class. Now in the next class, we'll see how the bryophytes have been divided into two types, liverworts and mosses. But this is something for the next class. Up until now, has everyone understood everything?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Now you people can note down. Yes, Harshad, you can leave. You can note down in the next class also.
Ma'am, can you slow down?
Ma'am, can you please scroll up?
Yes, sure, sure.
Ma'am, can you scroll down?